What's going on, Achievement Hunters? It is me, Morvi, and I'm here with another guide. Today we are doing the tricky little platformer, Colourful Boy. If you're a fan of games such as Super Meat Boy, then you are in luck, as this game is very similar. It is pretty simple in the first few levels, but it quickly starts throwing all sorts of crazy jumps and obstacles at us. This is where I come in. I'll show you how to complete every level and where each hidden collectible is along the way. We're going to get 100% in under 1 hour. In total, this will take around 30 to 60 minutes, depending on how good your platforming skills are. I did really enjoy this one, and if you want to grab it yourself, it is currently £3.29 on both the Xbox, PlayStation and Steam store. We've got a lot of annoying jumps to get through, so let's get to this. Now, this footage is going to be a little bit scuffed, as I played the majority of this off cam thinking it was going to be quick and easy, and then I realised it wasn't, so I finished it up on stream. So, in some of this footage you are going to see my dashing face in the corner of the screen, so please don't let that put you off. But this is Colourful Boy. Controls are very straightforward, left and right to move and A to jump. Just like Super Meat Boy, this is momentum based, so you can control the jumps and how far you go. There are a bunch of silly achievements to get, like jump once and jump another 30 times I believe, and I'm doing it right now as you can see. I will be honest though, it is one of them games where the descriptions for the achievements are very straightforward until you pop them and then they become an ambiguous mess. So right now, the first few achievements on my list currently say, first jumps joy, bounce begins a journey. If anyone knows what that means, then please let me know down in the comment section, as I don't speak Colourful Boy language. Now, on to the game. There is a hub world that houses all of the chapters from 1 to 6. I have been back since recording this guide and I have seen the dev has made some slight changes to this hub world, but the levels are exactly the same. So, in level 1 we have our first collectible. Now I did miss this the first time round, so don't be like me. Jump into the top right and collect the white glowing orb. Once you've got that, hit the flag and we can move on to the next level. Level 2 is super straightforward and introduces the wall jump mechanic. Get a feel for it, as we'll be using it like our life depended on it in a few levels. There are some achievements to complete multiple levels in a row. If you die, don't worry, keep on pushing through. By the end of the run, you'll be a pro at this game and you can run levels 1 to 10 and 10 to 20 really quickly. Some could even say you can do it blindfolded. Level 4 is a nice and easy one. It will show us how to boost jump. Don't forget to pick up the next collectible that is in the corner. If you're a platforming pro, you will know this move, the single wall bounce. The first chapter does lull us into a false sense of comfort, as the difficulty does ramp up quite quickly, so enjoy these first few levels. In this next level we are going to scoop up a few more achievements. The first one is going to use these bouncy springs. The other is to go face first into the razor blades. Don't worry, that doesn't count towards our no death run. We're still on our first attempt. I believe in you, don't worry. The best way to deal with these springs is to run at them from the same side you want to get to. When you run into the spring, hold the opposite side while in the air and you will wrap around easily. Do this, then make your way to the flag. You've probably noticed a lot of random achievements popping up on my screen. I'll be honest, I'm not 100% what they're for either. Some are for jumping, a couple were for dying, others for using the springs and your surroundings. So just follow what I'm doing on screen and you'll get the same achievements. On 7.1, the walls will crumble if we touch them for too long, but right at the top is our next collectible, so make sure you grab that one. For this next level, you will need a bit of momentum when falling down before grabbing onto the wall. If done correctly, it will launch you up into the air. As you can see, I am having a little bit of trouble here, as this was my first ever attempt. After a few runs, I got pretty good at it. But get a bit of momentum and it will fling you up. If you don't do it the first time, use the momentum from the first jump to land again and you'll get pushed even further. 1.9 is a nice and easy one. You can probably tell that I'm doing it a bit quick and I'm quite impatient. There is no timer for this game, so don't feel the need to play it as quick as possible. This one is a nice game to enjoy. Now for the last level on chapter 1. We have to use the fans to get up to the higher levels. As you're climbing the level, you will see our final collectible for this chapter. This one is a bit of a pain in the butt, so if you don't want the hassle, then do my method. Grab the collectible and then lose a life. You will still keep the collectible, and now all you need to do is make your way to the end of the level. And just like that, that is the end of chapter 1. You'll get an achievement for completing chapter 1 and for collecting all of the collectibles. Now on to chapter 2. For Chapter 2, there are only 8 levels to get through, but this is where they start getting a little bit tricky. So, get your platforming hat on and let's get into this. We are now in Chapter 2 and it starts getting a little bit real. As you can see here, I purposefully jump into this blade and die a few more times, and I get the Again achievement. This is to die 10 times within the game. I only did that for the achievement. I am not bad at the game, I promise you. Once you've done that, we can push on, and at the end of this level, there is another collectible to grab. This one is fairly simple to get. It is pretty far away from the blades. But as we jump down this final gap here, there is blades waiting for us at the bottom, so make sure you don't jump onto them. Then we can move on to level 2. Now, if you get to this point and you still need the I love them achievement like me, then find a jump pad and bounce on it 15 times. This will get us that next achievement. I was having a special moment here, constantly killing myself, just trying to find that right gap, but we got there. Once you get to this point here, all we have to do is do a big run up over these blades and do a jump. If we hit the bouncy pads, we'll keep up onto the ceiling and we won't go near them blades. And now pretty much it is an easy walk to the finish line. Make sure the moving platforms don't make you choke, then right at the end you just have to do a big jump. We've got a nice and easy one now. Don't look at the splatters on the wall. This is my first attempt, I promise you. When we get to the top, we're going to ignore going to the right. We're going to go straight to the left-hand side. But as we're dropping down the gap, please be aware there is a blade at the bottom waiting for us. So please stick to the right-hand side of the wall and slide down and we'll miss it. We have another collectible on this level and it is a little bit tricky. If you go to the left hand side when you first jump up, you can see it just by these blades here. Now you can go the long way the right hand side if you don't want to do it all in one go and just grab that collectible right at the start and then die. Or be a pro like myself and do what I did on screen there. I believe in you. It's not that hard. This next level looks a lot trickier than it is. We just have to be very responsive on our jumps. Once we get to the top, the end of the level is there. There is no collectible on this one, so just push straight to the top. Now, this is one of the first levels that are quite long, and there's a lot of things to be dodging. Once we get past these 2 sets of blades here, do it slowly, might I add. We're going to come down here, we're going to find our next collectible. It is sitting just above the blade in the corner. How nice. Now, once we've got this collectible, we're going to make our way higher up and then jump off the wall and make sure we're in the middle of the room. That way we'll dodge both of the blades. This is the trickier part of the level complete, but now we have to make our way to the finish line. These corridors here look quite inviting and so do them bounce pads. But as you can see when you climb up the corridors, there are sneaky blades in the corners, so you have to time your jumps correctly. So personally, I wouldn't use the jump pads. They are there to get you murdered. And just like that, 2 6s done. For this next one, we're going to jump off the left-hand side of the platform, and pretty much we're going to hope for the best. As you can see, this one did take me a couple of attempts, but if you kind of stay off-centered, you pretty much dodge all of the blades. Okay, I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. The good news, this is the last level on Chapter 2. The bad news, it's a pain in the butt. We do have our last collectible for Chapter 2 on this level, and as you can see on the screen here, I have chopped it up a little bit because I was a noob and died a couple times. Make your way through this blade hell and pick up the collectible, and then make your way to the right hand side of the screen. Now, this bit is a real pain. At the bottom of that corridor just to the right of us is the end of the level, but it is covered in blades, so you do have to time it correctly. The way I did it was I was watching this blade just above me going left and right. The one that's hitting our platform that we'll need to get to. Pretty much as it's coming back towards us, we're going to jump on the platform and jump over the blade, and then we're going to fall down the hole. We do need to grab the wall a couple times. I'm not going to lie, it was a little bit clutch, but if you go down slow enough, you'll be able to dodge the blades, and we'll get our last level on Chapter 2 complete. And we'll have all of the levels complete achievement and all of the collectibles achievement picked up. We are now going to make our way over to Chapter 3, and thankfully it is another short one. There are only 6 levels in Chapter 3, so let's push on. In the intro, I did say a few levels have been remapped, and this is one of the levels that I meant. In Chapter 3, my levels look like this. They're all on separate platforms, but when I went back to it to check on the collectibles, it was all now on one singular line. Same levels, but just different layout of this part here, so ignore that. The first level on Chapter 3 is another falling one, but this time we're going to fall to the right-hand side. We're going to stick to the wall just after the first blade, and then we're going to make our way down the wall very, very slowly. This is because our next collectible is stuck to this wall. Once we've picked up the collectible, we just have to make a arching jump over to the other side, and we'll get to the finish line. This one looks a lot trickier than it actually is. All we have to do is dodge a few blades, and they're all pretty evenly spaced out. So get to hopping, make sure you slide down the wall slowly so you don't get murdered by the corner blades, and make your way to the finish line. As I said, this one is actually a lot easier than it looks. Compared to the last few we've done, this one is a nice brisk walk through a park. If you follow my path in here, we pretty much dodge most of the contraptions that are trying to kill us. I think if we went the right hand way, it would have been a shorter run, but there would have been a lot more obstacles, but just like that, we have completed it. I am unsure why I'm playing like a bat out of hell in this footage, but yes, if we make our way to the right hand side and up this path in here, we'll see our next collectible just behind this wall. Now the best way I've found is to gap the whole bit and then use the wall that you haven't broken to get the collectible. My pathing on this level was a bit sporadic, but it was because I was trying to figure out where all the blades are. You can actually use either side of the walls completely to get right to the bottom, so ignore all these crazy jumps that I'm doing now. But if you make your way down to the last bit of the blades here, you can make your way to this platform here. And now you have to scoop around and make your way down here. Grab them walls as there's still a lot of blades down here. But after you're down here, you can easily make your way to the finish line. Now on to the last level for Chapter 3, and we'll get our third and final collectible also. Make your way through this sea of blades, and then we'll get to this jump here. As you can see, the collectible is nice and easy to get. We just need to knock this wall down, and once he's down, just jump over and grab that collectible. Now it is an easy walk to the finish. Do not jump down this here because there are blades in the corner. I do not trust this game. There's any chance they'll get to murder you. They will. So make it nice and slow down this corridor here, dodging all of the blades. And now all we need to do is do a slow walk to the finish line. If you listen closely, you'll hear that I actually hit the blade, but I hit the flag first. So we get the achievement for completing Chapter 3, and we'll get the achievement for collecting all of the collectibles. Now, on to Chapter 4. Chapter 4 is where we start seeing a lot more jumping into space and hoping for the best. Now, I've done all of the heavy lifting for you, so all you have to do is watch where I jump and you won't get hit by them blades. This first level is a little bit of a pain as there are a ton of annoyingly placed blades, but the hardest bit is this wall here. So we'll knock this down and jump over. Now, all we need to do is use this pad to jump over all of these blades to grab this wall and hit that flag. Now, on to level 2, and this is where we get our first collectible for Chapter 4. All we need to do is make our way up this left wall here, and it's just sitting in the corner, nice and easy to grab. Then once we've got that, we can literally hurl ourselves over to the other side of the level and get to that flag. This next one is fairly simple, but you do have to time your jump when you jump onto this wall, as if you do it too much, it's going to catapult you into a blade, and you don't want that. Also, at the end, you do need to land on a brick that will dissolve, and also bring down a wall that will dissolve. So it is a little bit tricky. So you have to be very quick about it and time your jumps correctly. For this next one, we're going to have to take it nice and slow on these bouncy pads. We have to bounce between the blades. As you can see on the splats on the ceiling, it has taken me a few attempts to do this. Slow and steady wins the race on this one. When you get here, it's a nice breather, but it's also kind of scary. We have to jump back on. When you get to the end, there is a collectible, but it is in a safe position. So grab it right at the end and we can finish up the level. No jumping with this one, just scoop around into the finish line. It is tricky, but you'll get there. This is where we're going to get our next collectible. It is conveniently placed right beneath a blade. So as you're coming down here, this blade to the right just now will have the collectible just below it. Grab it and then we can move on to the end. If you're having trouble, always remember you can do the method of collecting it and then dying and then just going right to the end on the next run because you'll also have it on that run. For these next two levels, there is not really a lot to say about them. It is very straightforward. You've just got to push all the way to the end. This one is a little bit trickier than the next one. The next one is an absolute doddle. So I'll see you in the next couple of levels when we need to get our next collectible. .410 .410 is where we're going to get our next collectible. So we're going to push on. We're going to try and avoid these blades while also avoiding these moving platforms. We don't need them just yet. We're going to need them in a second when we go up to get our collectible just about here. But as you can see, I'm going to use the method of getting the collectible and then starting the level again. Other than that, it's a straight push to the finish, doing the exact same that we've done in the rest of the level. And then we only need one more collectible in Chapter 4. We have another very straightforward level coming up now. We make our way to the end. There's pretty much nothing to stop us until the very end where this blade is. We're going to get into the room. We're going to go to the left-hand side of the blade and we're going to jump from the left wall up into the middle, up into the end of the level. Just like that. Easy peasy. So this is our last collectible on Chapter 4 and it's actually quite tricky. So what I did is I pushed right onto the finish line and completed the level really quickly. And then I restarted the level. Now we're going to slide down here and land on this platform. Jump down this gap and just as we're going down, there is a moving blade below us. So we're going to land in the bottom left corner. We're now going to make our way up to the collectible and grab it. And that is our last collectible on Chapter 4. We do have one more level to get through, but that is our last collectible, so we'll get our Chapter 4 collectible achievement popping. And then we're going to make our way to the last level on Chapter 4. Now it is pretty straightforward, we just have to make our way in a counterclockwise motion, dodging all of them blades. There is enough gap between them, so it is quite straightforward to get through. As you're sliding down this last bit here, there is a few blades that will take you there. I'm quite surprised that one didn't murder me, but there we go. And that is the last level on Chapter 4. Now we only have 2 more chapters to go, and I'll be honest, they are quite tricky. We're going to make our way to Chapter 5. As you can see, I'm having a little bit of trouble getting there, but as we get up to the top, we can jump into it. I am going to be a little bit more quieter over these next couple of chapters. I will be popping up when there is collectibles to grab, and it just so happens there is one on this first level. It is very straightforward. As you can see, we're going to make our way all the way over, dodging these blades. This one is a simple wall bounce over, do a little slide up the wall, and we've got it. But for the next few levels, I'm going to be quiet as they are very, very straightforward. And I'll see you at the next collectible. It is collectible time. So as we're jumping up here, we're going to stick to this left wall and go right to the very top. The collectible is in the corner. Now we simply need to make our way to the top right of the screen. As you can see there, I did the most clutch jump ever. But other than that, it is a very, very simple level to get through. We have 2 more collectibles to grab, and one of them is on this level. As you can see, I am completely speed running through it. Make sure you dodge the blades and take out this wall right at the very end here. As you can see, our little collectible is hidden within the wall. My brain does not compute these blades, so it does take me a little bit longer to grab this collectible. It really does confuse me, but there we go. We got it in the end. Ignore that achievement, because I did come back and get this one. There is 1 more to collect, and it is in 2 more levels. For our last collectible, we're going to start running to the right hand side of the screen from the very beginning. Then we're going to climb up the right hand side of the wall, and that's where our last collectible is. We can then restart the level or run to where we started. Then we're going to make our way up the wall just like this and make our way across the map. Some of the walls that we're going to use are going to crumble, so we have to be quick about our jumps, and the others have blades attached to them. So I found trying to land on the top of these like pillar structure things was safer than landing on the platform itself. This last jump at the end is a scary one, but once you've landed that, we are done with Chapter 5, and there's 1 more to go. We are on the final chapter now, and it is the trickiest one by far. We're going to have to take everything that we've learned throughout the other chapters into this one. Saying that, the first one is an absolute doddle. We're going to jump into the far right bottom of the map, and then we're going to climb up to the finish line. It's easy as that, but it does get tough from here. Level 6.3 is the first level on Chapter 6 where we'll be getting a collectible. It is quite easy to grab, and it is conveniently placed right at the end, so we can grab it and then hop into that ending. Level 6.8 now, and we have our next collectible to grab. There's a lot of blaze to dodge. Who would have thought it? So once you get round here and knock this wall down, we're going to climb up here, and our collectible is just at the top. Now, if you get killed by the blades, make sure you get the collectible first. But don't go anywhere, because we have another collectible right on 6.9. Now, it is quite tricky. We're going to drop below onto this platform just below where we spawn. And I know we can just hit that flag and get to the next level, but we are going back up this wall. Now, there's a lot of blades to dodge, but they do go in sync, so you can time it quite well. Personally, I would go with the blades rather than against them. And as you're climbing up the wall, you'll notice that the collectible is in the top right. Now, you can get hit by a blade here, like I did, and start again. And then you can do this cool little wrap around, like I'm doing there, and land just here. And then we're going to jump to the wall opposite, slide down a little bit, and jump to that ending. 6:13 now, and this is where our next collectible is. Thankfully, it is right next to spawn. Not thankfully, there are a bunch of blades around it. Now, it is quite easy to get, and there's not many moving blades around it, so you can grab it quite easily. Once I got it, I did start again, and then push to the ending. The ending is also not super difficult, like there is a lot of things that are going to get in your way, but it is pretty manageable. If you're seeing me on screen now, take your time, and you'll get to the end without too much trouble. Okay, we've got 2 more to go and we are done here. This one is also very close to spawn. We just need to do 1 jump to get there. It is tucked into this corner and it is a very easy jump to make. Sadly, I didn't make it, but now we have to push on to the end. Now this is where it gets a little bit tricky, as this level is a pain in the butt. But like I said, take your time. Don't do too many jumps because you will jump into secret blades just like that one there. Watch the blades a couple times and time your jumps accordingly. Level 6:17 now. This is our last level and this is where our final collectible is. Now I'm going to hold my hands up and be honest with you guys. This hasn't been my first attempt. I have died a lot of times. I know I've been saying that, but I'm a big fat liar. This level is the biggest pain in the butt. But if you push on just a little bit, you'll get to this collectible just here. There are a lot of blades around it. You will have to watch them to time your jumps accordingly. But as long as you get that collectible, it is in the bag. And that is our final collectible done. As you can see, I did die, so I will speed this up just to get back where I was. There we go. So this is where the collectible was. We've got that now, so we're going to move on to the ending. Please take your time. As I said, this level goes on for quite a bit, and it is very, very infuriating. We're going to drop down here. Thankfully, there's no blades. We are going to watch out for that jump pad, though. And now we have to slowly snake our way around this little maze here, making sure we do not get hit by them moving blades. As you can see from the splats in this maze, I have been here a couple of times and I've died at the last second a couple of times. So please take your time on this one. And that is the end of Colourful Boy. As you're going to see right at the end, it tells you your stats. So I used 338 jump pads, destroyed 469 weak blocks, 4,509 jumps, and 695 deaths. I wasn't very close to that no death run. Well, I was kind of close to that no death run. I was a little bit off, only a tiny bit. But that is the end of my guide. If you're still here, then thank you for watching. If I helped you out in any way, or if I put Colourful Boy on your radar, then please hit that like button and let me know down in the comment section. And if you want to see more of my videos, please hit that sub button. I've got a bunch of guides that are coming out that's been in the backlog, as well as a bunch of Let's Plays. So if you're interested in achievement hunting, then please hit that sub button. But until next time, I've been Morvi, and I'll see you later. Happy hunting.